Hey, and welcome back, guys. Dan has recovered.
I feel very relieved after the
good.
bathroom break.
Well, we got a big test coming up soon for Apparition. A big
Yeah,
test.
yeah, definitely. I mean, Scotty though. I mean, Scotty was quite a good test for him too.
Yeah, it was definitely a good warm-up. But for his next game, it's going to be Apparition versus Rapha. So we're going to see
Apparition versus Rapha.
Yeah,
that is quite the test indeed. I see what you're getting at now.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, you know. But it's going to be cool to see Rapha as well. I mean, of course, another legendary player. Such a so dominant in the scene, and we're going to get to see him here in the tournament. Sadly, no Rapha, no Americans in the Legends Cup, but standard sort of.
Yeah, at least we get to see them playing today.
Yeah,
so
exactly. So we can see like I don't know 10 Legends this weekend, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and Rapha and 04. Who do you think? I mean, we've talked about this before, but I guess it's hard to say. We haven't seen Rapha or 04 even play. Oh no, did we see? Oh no, we were going to see 04.
Yeah.
But then his opponent Fiend was for some reason held up.
Yeah.
And so we switched games. We saw another Apparition game. I think it was the one we just watched, was it not, or was it one before?
No, one of them. It was the one before actually. Maybe.
Okay, cool. So.
Yes.
We get to look forward to seeing that. And again, Legends. Let's talk more about it because we're coming up to the time of drawing who's going to play who. So let's talk about matchups once again. So matchups.
Yeah, I was still thinking of like
important matchups.
Who do I want to see?
Cooler Cypher.
Yeah.
Cooler Toxic. Cooler versus everyone.
Pretty much all of them. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, Avec Cypher is always really cool too.
Which you could see.
Actually, I want to see Noctis versus everyone because you don't really get to see that very often.
Yeah.
Because we've seen everyone else play each other loads, but we never see really Noctis playing those people frequently in competitions like back in the day. I mean, he would be at all the events. He would place pretty well.
Yeah.
Like usually top 8 and 5th to 8th, whatever. But we wouldn't see him playing extended series against the likes of Cooler, Toxic, Avec.
Yeah, it wasn't such
Cypher.
a frequent sight, but I think Noctis is going to be a complete menace. He could really stir things up in the group.
Yeah, he's completely unknown, really.
Yeah, we don't question marks. But again, Vu's a lot of the players are because they're drawing some out from inactivity, and they're coming back, and their practice games are going awesomely. So it doesn't take much to get back into the rhythm of things for most of them, I guess.
So it's pretty difficult because it's like they're all some of them are coming from weird. Like it's like Avec, for example. He just stopped playing. Like what was it, 2-3 weeks ago?
That's his retirement from Lance, didn't he? So at DreamHack. So
I mean, his shape. I mean, he's got he gets like the meta game. I mean, sure, we're not on the same maps, so I guess that's like one of the ways that we try to help that situation of the meta game because that's really important. Like you may be really good, you may be able to get your aim and back and stuff like that, but you actually have to put some games in because like the way people play these days is different to how it was a year ago, and that was different ever so slightly, from a year ago before that. So that the metagame aspect, how people approach these maps these days is much different in psychology and stuff. So it's going to be, I think, toughest for Jibo because he's maybe been away the longest.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard work for him. I think we could see some cool. I just want to see some like awesome shots from him. I want to see him.
Jibo.
Some frag streaks.
Yeah.
But what was I saying? DM6. We're going to see campgrounds between these guys as well. I mean, of course, it's going to be part of the legendary map pool, and the dismemberment will be an interesting one in the matchup. But campgrounds. I really want to see Cooler rocking his stuff on there, and I don't know. The map pool I think is very good for that. And again, the players basically decided between themselves what it would be. Dismemberment in there. People were like T4, maybe T9 or T2, which would be a bit weird on Quake Live.
T2. And that's a bad map. That's just that map sucks. Come on, that map sucks. Pro 22 was interesting, but it probably sucked as well.
I think you're being polite about it there.
Yeah, exactly. But we never really saw Pro 22 played, but it looks like Rapha is connected to the server one, and Apparition is also connected. So maybe we'll get started soon with Rapha and Apparition.
It's going to be a best of 3, of course. So.
Of course, yeah. Do you reckon? What do you think Apparition's edges are going to be if he has any against the Titan that is Rapha?
I don't really know because like Rapha positional player, I think Rapha's going to make it very difficult for Apparition to really connect those shots, and I think Rapha's going to be aware of the fact that maybe Apparition's game is very aim-based, and he's going to try and deny those opportunities really to have those LG fights that he seems to own in. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. Rapha's going to be trying to be invisible for the majority of the time and just battering him the rest. So that's my thoughts on it, basically.
Yeah. Actually, Apparition, for some reason, has a Russian feeling to me. When I watch him, do you get that at all?
A Russian feeling?
Yeah, like I feel like I'm watching a Russian player a bit.
I don't like his aim is too good to be Russian.
Too good to be. What about Evil, man? His name's
I mean, true.
Russian.
But it was only like less than a year ago, and there was still a stereotype for Russians to generally not have, not considered to be great on their aim. And now Evil's kind of turned that around, and people are like, no one really says anything about Russians not having aim anymore, because Evil's basically probably one of the best LG players at the moment.
Yeah, and he does it in a different way as well. Like, very aggressive with it.
Exactly. It's just when he decides to use it, it's always perfect. And the thing is, you can never really see his true accuracy because he spams it a lot as well.
Yeah,
also pre-fire as well. So it's very tough to tell actually what his LG accuracy is, on some sort of level. But yeah, sorry, you're talking about Apparition being Russian.
Yeah, I get the feeling like especially like the kind of flicky nature of the way he moves his mouse, and I mean that just like it's kind of that Russian, that kind of almost seems like a kind of cockiness that I kind of associate a little bit with Russian players sometimes. I don't know why I have that association, but that just feels that's how I feel about it.
You see more 360s, random 360 spins from him, and then he'll be like identical. So
lots of the rails, and they are selecting maps, and they have voted silence. So it looks like the first map between Rapha and Apparition will be on silence. So this could be an interesting one. I don't really know what to predict for this.
I've got no idea. I don't know how much Apparition has practiced this map, but Rapha here definitely going to be an interesting. I don't know if I want to make predictions at all. I just want the story to
I haven't seen much Rapha games here either. But here we go. The countdown has begun between Rapha and Apparition on map number 1. It is silence. Take it away.
Right. So I am going to go on Rapha. Let's watch the American Beast playing it for the first time today. Onto that red rocket. Got a bit of green armor. And just holding this position here, looking for Apparition and finding a safe way to get over to this LG. Mega health is still up, DDK. It's been still up and it's still not been taken. That Rapha should get it.
Positionally pretty horrible, so Rapha not wasting any time with that Mega. It's just going to go, okay, I'll grab the next red. But I mean, the point of like not taking it though is that you don't want to put yourself in that position. You want to let your enemy go into that position because then that's the strength for you. But we haven't seen that yet, and it's still up. Oh wow, nice little flick rocket there from Rapha, actually connecting Apparition again. A little bit confuddled with that one, and Rapha again with that shaft.
Very nice.
Is going to murder Apparition now with a quick 2-0 start. It's looking pretty hot for Rapha.
Well, Apparition could get himself a red armor here possibly, but I imagine if he does, it's going to be, he's going to be punished. But it looks like he's just stepped away and decided not to risk it. He doesn't want to let Rapha get any more frags for the time being. But of course, it is going to be pretty difficult to avoid.
Mega spawning now as well, and I mean the red's like 15 seconds away, so this could be a fight over the Mega. I mean, it could be. They both should be there, and they both are. An Apparition with the failed rocket jump out. Rapha hitting everything, and with that shotgun finish, that's going to be the end of Apparition, and it's now 3-0 to Rapha in the first minute and a half of this first map on silence.
Yeah, I mean Rapha there, nice delay on the red, making sure it doesn't clash too closely with the Mega health. And Apparition, he gets on yellow, he's taken a green armor, so his stack's not going to be terrible. And this is where, if they get a close fight, then it could be advantageous for Apparition, but taking that initial rocket is going to hurt him a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, you're saying Rapha's positional player, look at these positions, they're hot. They're really sexy positions to play from with rockets, with rail, even with LG to some extent, and Rapha can really dictate a lot of the action. And there's, again, see, he goes for that Mega, and look at the position he's stuck into, but he actually manages to connect 2 or 3 rails as he exits, and Rapha unable to finish him off. And now it's dangerous stuff because Apparition is pressuring him, hits another rail. Rapha suddenly has to retreat, going to protect that lead, not going to risk anything, doesn't want to die. It's like, okay, Apparition, you can have that red, but you still won't have control because I'm going to get the yellow, and the Mega is still going to be the item that's going to be contested to really decide who gets control. And here we go, the Mega coming up, and what are we going to see here?
Great rail there from Rapha. He's still up. Rapha kind of has let it go. Apparition seems to be neglecting it as well. And Rapha seems to be like, is it safe? Like, can I get it? Yes, I got it. Actually, just to run away. So a safe Mega for Rapha. Apparition stacking up on those reds. But Rapha, oh, what a rail. Really stopping Rapha from securing a nice, nice stack. And this is great stuff on Apparition, actually. The damage he does, like, for free is just so, is spectacular.
Yeah, and Rapha, great stuff because he doesn't want to give anything away. Some players would have been fragged by now because they're like, okay, whatever, I'll just go for the fight. But Rapha's like, I am not going to give you a frag.
Yeah.
But he's going for this Mega. This is a commitment, a huge commitment. He's got the Mega now, but Apparition nowhere to be seen, not able to actually put anything onto Rapha, any shots at all. And that, I think, was a missed opportunity for him. And unfortunately, Rapha now connecting with a very damaging rocket is going to allow Rapha to challenge for this red and probably get it and regain control. And there's Apparition with that shot, trying to fight with that high percentage. You can really see his damage output, but it's not quite enough. It was close, but not enough to kill Rapha there. And Rapha again hitting 38% himself. So
I think Apparition may be choking a little bit on his lightning gun. Rapha was some very nice dodging in that situation. It was the kind of the fight I was wondering whether or not Rapha would let it happen, but dealt with it very appropriately. Oh, a great rail from Apparition. Rapha looking a little bit low at the moment. Red armor is going to be a big fight for the Apparition behind. He is going to pick up his frag, and there we are. So he's on the board. Yellow armor up very soon, and Rapha not going to drop for it, of course.
How are we going to see Rapha handle this situation? We can see him flying with the rails, actually hitting 2, but he needs to hit more because Apparition's still hot on his heels with that shot of his, and will finally kill Rapha.
Very nice.
Rapha unable to actually come away with much there, apart from those 2 rails, and that could be important as he, oh wow, charges off the spawn, gets the rocket. Those 2 rails were enough, apparently, to connect 2 good rockets, which results in a kill, and now he's regained some semblance of control, chasing Apparition, trying to get away. He's not going to find any luck, I don't think, but actually, maybe he will, because Rapha unable to capitalize there fully.
How on earth did he survive that? Rapha couldn't quite finish him off. But I mean, it's not so bad for Rapha at all, because Apparition has to go and pick up a ton of health. So it's really killing time for Apparition. But the way he handled his his control earlier, I definitely see a comeback very possible for him.
Yes, indeed, a comeback very possible. 3 frags Rapha though with the rocket jump up. He's going to basically lock Apparition away on this side of the map. Apparition though gets out because Rapha pushes in. So now now Apparition can go out and actually get some position on that red. So Rapha maybe he has to go for his choke point. Apparition not going to be able to deal much damage. Comes through the teleporter though, goes to the fight, but unfortunately gets pushed away by the splash. So Rapha is going to secure that red, and the Mega's coming up in 10 seconds. What is Apparition going to be able to do? Because now Rapha's rocket jumping up, getting position once again.
Yeah, it's got that higher ground. Yeah, Mega, just a moment. Is Rapha going to hide himself in there? But it could make him a little bit vulnerable, so he decides, no, I'm not going to go through a teleporter. I will take it eventually. And Apparition has disappeared off the face of the earth.
He has indeed, and Rapha, he doesn't have to do anything. He can just play positionally. He doesn't need to kill him. He doesn't need to kill Apparition. He just needs to hit him with shots. Every time Apparition wants to come and attack Rapha because he wants control back, fine. Just trade the damage. It's always going to be better for Rapha, especially with these good positions. And Apparition trying to attack from below this grenade, dangerously close there to Rapha. And again, with the rail, with the rocket switch, Rapha now only with 50 armor, and everything is spawning right now, everything. So this could be an opportunity for Apparition, but with that high position, Rapha's going to be able to sweep away this Mega and get back to red in time, and Apparition is going to be left with only the yellow.
Yeah, I mean, not much to work with. He did such a good job of whittling down Rapha's stack, but he's going to have to do that work all over again now, because Rapha is, tanked. I actually want to switch over to Apparition. We haven't seen him a great deal. We have been watching Rapha, which is of course marvelous, but I really want to see Apparition, pressuring, getting a stack back and trying to force a good fight. But look at the damage Rapha has done. We might be switching back to his point of view sooner than I expected. Great work by Rapha.
Yeah, Rapha extending lead, 4 frags now. We can see he's in no rush at all. But Apparition seems to be holding his own more or less against Rapha, keeping at least the game so far in the first 8 minutes pretty close. And Rapha sending himself onto this rocket, onto this red area, will find himself another frag as Apparition gets trapped. And here's the mega pickup as well as a result. He's got this, I mean, 5 frags. He's got control. He's got all the armor. He's got position. He's got everything he needs. Even the awesome banners, the FACEIT banners. He has everything, and even the GA. Apparition's got some work to do right now. How is he gonna claw his way back?
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. Rapha does not want to give him much at all. He doesn't need to sort of chase for the frags. He's already made the gap. He just needs to stop Apparition from really coming too close to him. He's just not connecting with rails. Apparition moving forward into his LG, but Rapha still looking in great shape at the moment. Making a decision between Mega and Red, electing to go for Red first, but he can probably end up getting both as well. Apparition hiding a little bit. He doesn't want to come out and play. And I don't know if he's going to have any timing on any of the major items, so this is going to be solid this last 90 seconds.
Oh, he gets Rapha from behind with the shot, dealing excellent amounts of damage. And Rapha has got to be careful. Here comes Apparition out, the teleporter with a rocket. One good rocket. He needs another one just to finish Rapha off, but not quite enough. So close, 32 health. But there's Apparition up the jump pad, sealing his fate. And that, I think, is going to be the last nail in the coffin. It's going to seal that one off for Rapha, because Apparition now has surely no time to make it back. Of course, at least silence anyway.
The clock is really against him. But it's really cool to see Apparition playing so well against Rapha, a previous world champion. I'm very impressed, and I saw on the stats before he's only ranked 9, so he's around the 1900 to 2000 elo range, and he's playing really exceptionally. Yeah,
it's really cool to see Apparition. I've never heard him before. This is a really strong player, and I wonder if in future American or US, North American, whatever you want to call it, FACEIT Cups. Whether he is going to be a standout repeatedly. Is he going to be like the back team, of the European Cups?
Very possible. An Apparition hiding away there. He's already called GG, so we're going to see the last few moments anyway. Rapha's accuracy, he's been spamming that LG quite a lot. It's not going to reflect too much on the damage done, but he's been dead on with his aim, really. Some rails have been a bit disappointing, but it's been overall extremely strong performance. And look at that, Apparition, 59% rail.
And with 59% rail, is still not enough to defeat Rapha. Rapha playing very intelligently, very cautiously, very confidently, and of course he gave his opponent a lot of respect, I think, which was interesting. Maybe he didn't give his opponent a lot of respect, but he didn't ever try to really push his luck. He was just playing as smart as he could. Given the information he had about the situation, he's just like, okay, let's do the smart thing every time. He didn't. I don't think maybe even Apparition came into the factor. It's just, what information do I have? How can I use this?
It's just a solid game overall, really. Guys, we are going to go for a quick break, and then we'll be back with map number 2 between Rapha and Apparition in the semi-finals. Stick with us.